The Coach O Show with Luke Tasker.
Hey, Ticat fans, welcome to episode 1 of the Coach O Show. I'm Luke Tasker. We're going to be doing a weekly update, a weekly check-in with Coach throughout the season. This is the first one this year. Coach O, how you doing, man? It's good to see you.
It's good to be seen. Good to see you, Luke. I appreciate you doing this, man. This is fun.
This is awesome. I'm excited to be a part of the team in a new way. It was time for me on the endless string of injuries in 2019 and life cycles change, and I couldn't be more thrilled to at least be able to be a part of the organization in this way. So I'm excited for this. Every week we're going to be able to get together and talk about what's going on with the team and the season, and it actually almost feels like a line in the sand right now. Like we're starting a new season now. Unfortunately, there is 2 losses in the books, but Coach, tell me how the bye week has gone. What's it been like for you as the coaches in the office, and how's it gone getting back onto the field with the guys?
Yeah, well, first of all, there's times miss your personality and definitely miss your play on the field. That goes without saying. But for the bye week, Luke, we really encourage our guys to get away for a little bit, and one of the things I cautioned him on was just not overthinking, right? Football it's a very simple game, and sometimes we as coaches complicate it. There's just some simple things that are productive or counterproductive, depending on how you view it, of things that to win football games. And it's not really a secret recipe, and you understand that having played as many years as you did. So the bye week's been refreshing. It kind of came at the right time for us. Let's face it, we were extremely banged up. We're still not at full strength. That's the game of football. But we have a better understanding of who we are, where we're at, where we're going, and of course, how we're going to get there. So it's been refreshing. A bye week is always great, not just for the body, but for the mind.
Absolutely. I just was listening to a non-football podcast, totally unrelated. And sure enough, the analogy is Vince Lombardi. Day 1 after losing the year before the Super Bowls began, right? So they lost the American football or whatever. And he brought out a football in front of the team day 1. And he said, this is a football and we're not going to overthink this. They started right there and ended up becoming the first 2 Super Bowl champs. But when you start overthinking, things start to come unraveled a little bit. I remember the bye weeks when I played. Obviously, you wouldn't remember because this is the 1 year of my career that we weren't together, which I think was 2017.
Correct.
We were 0-8 and came up to a bye week before the Labor Day Classic that year. I literally went to Florida for 8 days, 8 days
nice.
straight in the middle of a season, and got healthy, felt good, wasn't overthinking it, just came back refreshed and trying to be the best player I could be. At that time, we were amazingly still in a playoff. We still had a playoff chance. And of course, this year, nothing's written out by any means. We're still very early into a long season. Have you found it easy to come back with a positivity? Is it a locker room full of guys who can believe?
Well, you know what? There's this, and I know this as a player. There's the locker room culture, and then there's everything else that we can control. And how we do it around here, having been a part of it. And I'd like to think that I'm a positive guy, and that's just kind of what emanates through. That's just the outlook that I choose to have. It's kind of it's not what you say; it's how you make people feel. And so it's been really simple for me because that's who I am. That's just the authentic me. That doesn't mean that we brush things under the rug. It just means that I think the future is bright. And it's really that simple. We're going to address the elephant in the room. You've been in those team meetings, and we're going to allow physical mistakes, but mental mistakes are going to be continually challenged, and we're going to coach them hard. We're going to demand excellence, and we just won't let up on that. And the scoreboard will turn, and each year is different, not just with the player turnover, but with the leadership and different things. Like we're a completely different team than 19. And that's great. Embracing the challenge, and, you'd like to, the best times to learn are when you play sloppy and win. It's always tougher, and it's magnified when you lose. But I think sometimes when you win, it masks things. And sometimes when you lose, it magnifies it. And you just have to know that it is a journey. There's nobody that's going to make the Grey Cup or the playoffs in August. And you just have to keep it in perspective, whether we're 2-0 or 0-2.
Yeah. I remember in 2019, we had some times like that where we played really not that great. I mean, there was mistakes out there and there were turnovers and all the rest, but still we were winning those games a lot of times. And it's so easy to then put on the film and say, well, yeah, sure, we'll get better at this and that, of course, but we won as well. So it's easier in that case, and it's hard, and it's the real work of football to make the corrections when it's not when it has not gone your way. New leadership, you mentioned, new team. Could you give us an insight from the coaching staff meetings, from the locker room, from the special teams meeting, which is effectively a team meeting, with Jeff Reinebold? Give us some insight. Who are some of the younger Ticats, some of the guys who haven't been around? We know Simone, is a leader, and he does what he needs to do for the team. Who are some young guys who have impressed you in a leadership standpoint?
Well, you know what? It's not even leadership. It's their buy-in to the way that we have done things, basically since, 2013 as Tiger Cats, the things that we started to build with Jeff and Tommy and myself when I was the D coordinator and those type of things. And, we kind of did a little fun thing this year where we had players from the past that helped build this up to where it's at now. Just send in 20, 30 seconds, sometimes 2 minutes, just on what it meant to them to be playing Hamilton and be part of the Ticat culture and what it meant to them. And it wasn't preempted. It was, they could say whatever they wanted and dress however they wanted. It was very informal. But I think, it's one thing to know the names and see the highlights, but then it's another thing to actually hear it from them. So the meetings have been different, Luke. We're on this. There's Zooms, right? And so you've been in many of those meetings, and they're hard to describe. You kind of have to feel them. You know how interactive they are generally, and it's just it's a tougher deal. I shouldn't say tougher. It's just different. It's got a different feel to it than it has. But we're adjusted. We're able to see people, not just in boxes like this, but we actually have video cameras in the room where we can see all the rooms. So. But it has a little bit different feel. But as far as to answer your question / comment dead on, I've just been impressed with the young guys, just their play. I don't think they've tried to lead by what they're saying. It's just like, okay, I respect what it is. We don't know it all. They want to soak in information, and it's really fresh still. So, everybody has the ability to lead, but I'm really impressed with how they just aren't in a hurry to do that. They just want to do their part and learn. That's
the best answer. It's so telling of your culture that you built. And really my best taste of that was obviously 2019, though I was with you my entire career. But when the team was entirely yours, that your just answer tells the whole thing, that it's not that they were great leaders, it's that they bought in. It's really that they were great followers. The team needs a lot of great followers, right? You can't, if you have too many great leaders, they're not all great, right? It's about having some great followers, and that's telling. I'm glad to hear that of the young part of the Ticats team this year. We did see some great catch plays in the first game out of Akron. I was happy to see my guy making some catches out there.
Yes.
Back to the culture here. It's a pivotal part of a culture with a start like this. And I was no stranger to 0-2. You look back at the years, there was multiple times we did this. That one big difference was, though, that even after we had been to the Grey Cup in 13, after we had been there in 14, we were never favored for some. We were always talking about that, right? It was always like, well, we got to do this as underdogs again. We got to climb out of a deficit. This year, the league, the country loved the Tiger Cats going into this season, but we're 0-2. Is the message kind of different? Is there a breath of fresh air that now you can kind of just work without a pressure on your shoulders?
And, a great question from the outside in, but I think for those listening here, you really are focused on the daily. And, we do have media messaging and things that, we talk about that because the players do watch the TV copies, and they do listen to what's being said. And when you're 0-2, you're getting all kind of text messages about what's wrong and what needs to be fixed. And you know as well as I do that that's just noise. And it's a necessary part because this is a business. And it's a sports entertainment business, and we all need each other. And so I welcome that, but we won't embrace that because that's going to detract from what really matters. And that's the people in this building that go out there and play. The coach's job is to prepare, and the player's job is to play and play at a high level. It's a high performance business. We all know what we sign up for, but that's, winning is a byproduct of the preparation. And as long as you're prepared, there should be no fear or anything else. And, half the teams in the league are going to lose every week. Half the teams in North America from high school, college, pro lose, and they prepare to win. That's what we sign up for. So as you know, like we always say, you're always going to be guaranteed adversity. So we know that's coming. How are we going to respond to it? And each year is different. We had a great response in 19. And, 2021, it's been very favorable. It just hasn't been favorable on the scoreboard.
That's great. Yep. Jeff Reinbold prepared me well that the only thing guaranteed in life is adversity, just like football. And I've got, since I was there, I've got twin boys, Coach, and it's there's been nothing but adversity guaranteed on a daily basis.
Daily.
Absolutely. 100%. The Coach, it's fantastic to talk with you again, and we'll get a chance to do this throughout the season. And sort of, I'm happy to have a 1 degree separation from a feel as to how the team's progressing and what's it like. And I remember so well that when you're not going well, and the media sees that, and there's something about it that they just don't get. And then when things are going great, they talk about that and they love that. And there's something about you as a team that they still just don't quite get. There's some level of intimacy that is unattainable from the outside. And that's the beautiful thing about football. It's so complex, and a team culture as the season progresses. I'm just excited to be able to talk with you weekly and get a sense for what it's like from the outside a little bit. So, Coach, thank you very much. Ticat fans, thanks for tuning in. We'll do this every Tuesday, the Coach O Show with Luke Tasker. Looking forward to a great season to come. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Luke.